Welcome to the Vox Pathfinder 15R channel. Today on the bench, or dining room table I should say, I have my trusty Squire strap. I was having big time issues with intonation at the first few frets. The strings were wicked high. And I don't know what got over me, but I was like, I don't want to file the nut grooves. I'll just take it out, right? Get one of these honing blocks and just hone the bottom. So I'm there with a punch, hammering, trying to whack it out, and big huge chunk of rosewood came flying off. So I glued that back, and I used this part of the old nut as a spacer to see if it comes out. There we go. You might see a crack around there, but it looks pretty good. Barely feel any difference in level. See if we can get it up close. So yeah, I got my nut out, rescued the rosewood. So I figured we'd give a tune up to these frets. I have some issues with some frets, and I said, well, nuts out, why not do it? So I'm looking for tools. What can I use to what's the word? Improvise. And I look in my closet, and I've never seen this thing before. Check this out. It's like a rack that you install on a wall or something. Maybe it's magnetized, but it's not. It's like heavy aluminum extrusion. So I'm going to use this edge for flattening the neck, and this edge for filing it down. So let me just put the camera back up onto its makeshift tripod. Okay, so we got everything in the frame. So I'm going to use a feeler gauge. Let's see. I'll start off with let's say 6 thou. See if I can get this to go under the frets. So yeah, I can go under a bunch of them. So just tighten up the truss rod. You may be wondering, what's this cool blue tool? This is my Music Nomad. I have a video on it. You can look in the channel. So tightening it should bring it back, right? Improvement. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue straightening out this neck. Oh, I feel some tension. One second. Maybe I'll just show you a little bit. All right, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, not as easy. See that? That's not going under as much. So what we'll do is I will switch to a 4/1000. I have one. And see if we can get that under any of them. Yep. So I'm just going to continue doing that until I can't get my feeler blade gauge into the gap at all, and then I'll call this straight and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, I got this mostly straight. I just wanted to show you something. I got this down to a 1.5 thou. And I get some clearance down here, which is okay. That could be considered the fall away. But if you want, you just, at this point, you're just going to do micro tweaks. So we're just going to loosen it just a little bit. See what happens. And see if I can shore up the clearance on the fall away area, and at the same time not develop a belly in the middle. So hold it sort of down on this end. So that's good. Let's try a little more. Again, it's not important so much. Just, you might actually want that little bit of fall away. It's actually not a bad thing. But let's just get to the point where we can see if we can get it perfectly flat. Just one more little tweak. Now I'm starting to get some clearance. Maybe those were low frets. Let's go a different spot. I'm going to call that good. Okay, now we want to reverse. What I did is I put 150 grit sandpaper taped to the bottom flat part. And let's just mark the top of these frets. Just to track our progress. You don't want to take any more material off than absolutely necessary. And again, if these frets back here don't file down as much, that actually works in your favor. Although I have a problem with some of these frets, so I do want a slight filing down, I should say. There's a problem around here. So I don't want to completely obscure that issue. Getting some mark on the fretboard, but whatever. That'll clean off. Hopefully. See if I can get it from above, so make sure my palm didn't wipe it off. Last minute check. It would help if I had the 1.5 thou out. Why 1.5? That's the smallest it goes on this set. So that's what I have. That's good. So let's just start the process. Just sort of get it on there and let weight do its thing. Go back and forth. Now I'm seeing a few frets here in the middle, and I wonder if I just crank it a little bit, that'll bring them up on their own. Just make sure. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm getting somewhere. So let me just show you the progress. And what you want to do is get it to the point where all the marker is gone on all the frets. Okie doke. So, and it's around here. Maybe I'm gonna see if I can straighten the neck a little bit more. See if that just isn't an artifact of the bent neck, and continue onward. So we'll get back to you as soon as I'm pretty close to finish with this process. Okay, I'm close to the end, and I just want to show you how I know I got the neck really nice and straight. All the markers disappearing, except a few around here, and then like the last one. So if the neck was hyper tight and extended, it'd be like this, and these wouldn't get filed down. If it was bowed in like so, these wouldn't get filed down. The fact that both these are happening at the same time means I have a perfect balance. So I know I'm not too concave or, well, concave or convex. Concave or convex. You know, the neck's neither not like that, or it's not like this. It's a balance because I have a combination of frets that would be affected by if the neck was too concave, and I have a fret that's not filing down as fast as if the neck was too convex. So both are happening, therefore this neck is as straight as it possibly could be. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this up and then we'll go on to the next stage. Okay, I've finished filing. That's about the only blue I have, but I don't care about there. So next step, got some nail polish remover. And I'm just going to clean off all the shavings. So I'm just going to get this done. We're going to go to the next step. Okay, we're back, and I have the frets all markered up again, except for the first 3 frets. So this is all you want to do. Just want to color them in, because this is going to be your guide to doing this next step. Give them a good going. And then what you want to do is you want to get a 3-sided file like this. So, and when you're working on a fret, make sure to tape off the fretboard, especially if you haven't sanded off one of these edges. And you just want to align the file, push it forward, and then rotate as you go. Do it on the other side. And what we're after is we're after a thin strip of purple at the very top of the fret, but you don't want to take it completely off. So just continue this process. Like I said, you start on this edge and then go forward and then rotate. Okay, so here I am. I'm down to the 16th fret. We're getting all the way down to the 21st, so a few more frets to go. And what I wanted to show you is the thin line of blue along the top that gets left. And some of these I might go back a little more, but you see how it's just a thin blue line? That's what we want to maintain. That's the remnants of the leveling sequence. In here, what I want to show is a very easy tool to use in this process. And I can't do this really with one hand and show you with the iPhone in the other, but hold a razor blade down and use that to put your file over, you know, so you don't ding up your fretboard. But it's a very cheap tool and it works effectively. So once I get all these crowned, we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I have the camera set up so you can just watch me do this a little bit. It's thrilling. So I just take the razor blade and put it up against the fret. Move the razor blade because these frets are really wide. And you see I'm doing a rotation. So it's an art form, and you just gotta practice that. So you just start like this, and then rotate as you go forward, and do it on the other side. And then you just check your work with the magnifying glass. Looks a little wide at the end, so just concentrate down there for a bit. And then when you're satisfied with that, you just take the tape and you move to the next fret wire. All right, so I'll get back to you when this is all done. Okay, we're back, and I've taped up the whole fretboard. All the frets are crowned, and we're gonna now take some 600 grit sandpaper and just go over the frets like so. And smooth over the crowns. So I'm just going to do that until we get to the next step. Okay, so you think you've got it nice and shiny. We have 2 steel wools. This is rougher than this one, so I'm going to start buffing each fret wire in this direction, and just go down the fret. Okay, we'll be back, but yeah, this is pretty brainless. You're just buffing each fret. Okay, so I pretty much polished these frets several times with this steel wool, and now I'm just gonna buff with this softer one, just so you can see what it looks like. There's gonna be a few scratches in that, but compared to stock, oh my god. So let me just go over this, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, we're on to the next stage, where I'm just going to remove all this protective tape. Sometimes it does a really good job staying on, and you don't want it to. Okay, all the tape's removed from the fretboard. Again, get your nail polish remover out. Nice rag. Clean part of the rag. And just clean up the fretboard. And that's going to remove all the marks that I made inadvertently. Unless I put permanent marker, but you can see all the blue pigment that's being lifted off the fretboard. Of
course, you could be not as sloppy as me, and you wouldn't have to do this in the first place, but fine, if I have a means to clean it off, I'm good. Although, I think next time I'm going to be more careful. Because that sure is a lot of marker. It's really staining the rosewood a lot. And rosewood's a real porous wood, so it's going to, even if it's not permanent marker, it's going to really dive deep into the pores of the wood and basically dye it. But this is doing a decent job cleaning up all my mistakes and whatever contamination over the years just that this has developed. Okay, so now once you've gotten the fretboard clean to your satisfaction, the final step, get some paper towels and a little bit of this good stuff. Premium fingerboard oil by Roche Thomas. So just gonna squirt a little bit on. If it will come out. Hold a second. Is there a... Interesting. Here we go. And since we cleaned this fingerboard with nail polish remover, basically we've dried it up some, so now it's going to really soak this oil up real nice. And of course the bottom frets are off the screen, but that's because of the camera angle. Can't get much better than that. I can feel those frets, how smooth they are already, at least for a Squire. But this is the most anyone's ever put into a Squire. It costs more to have this professionally done by a trained luthier than it cost me to buy this guitar in the first place. So that's a good thing about these instruments, is that if you want to learn how to do this stuff, that you know, you can't get in too much trouble, right? You know, this thing costs $100. So if you ruin it, what are you really out, you know? Of course, you know, along the way, if I do this again, I want to see if I can get a better file, you know, one that would probably cut a little better, make the job a little quicker. What else would I do? Yeah, that's about, I think for now, that's the big thing I would focus on, is probably a nicer file, one that wouldn't perhaps get dull. It cut pretty quickly. There's maybe that little contraption. Instead of a razor blade, there's something you can buy online that goes around each fret. Protects the fingerboard from it. So that's pretty much it. And then let's see, let's just loosen this tripod, and then we're going to order a nut and have that nut installed and fitted with the new leveled fretboard, and see how she plays. Okay, thanks for tuning in, but I'm gonna include that in this video as well. Welcome to the Vox Pathfinder 15R channel. Today on the bench, dining room table, we have the Squire Strat, which has previously been leveled, ground, and polished. And it all started because I wanted to work on the stock nut. String grooves were too high. In the process, I knocked a bit of this rosewood out, and that led to this. Finally, me getting just so discouraged and say, screw it, we're just gonna do it up nice once and for all. So, got a little bit of an unboxing here. But yes, as you can see, we have tusk nuts, and I wasn't quite sure which one was the exact size. Well, I was pretty certain it was this one, but I wanted the XL. I thought maybe this would work. They'll both be fine choices, but we'll see. I think this is a little wider. If I were to use this one, I'd probably have to file the ends. So let's just go open it up. So I believe this is 42mm wide nut. Let's see, so there's just a buying guide here, which I saw online, blah, blah, blah. Wonder if there are directions. So they just tell you about taking out the nut. See if it fits in the slot. And then check for correct height, press on the string just past the second fret. Measure the gap between the string and the first fret. This gap should be 10 thousandths for the low E, 6 thousandths for the high E. Loosen the strings. Once you've adjusted the thickness and the height, you just need to sand the ends of the nut. Okay, so I will go ahead and work on that. Okay, so here we have the nut. Oh my Lord. Within a package, within a package, within a package, right? I might not use it, might use that one, so I'll keep that off to the side. Okay. So here it is. Just gonna see if it fits. So let's see if I can clean out the groove a little bit. So it looks like it does pretty much fit in there. So I'm just going to finagle with this a little bit, and we'll be right back.
Okay, so I just have some like glue residue. So I'm just putting the razor blade into the corners and scraping outwards. Just positioning it, lifting up, positioning it into the corner, and scraping back. And that's just the process I'm going through, just to get this groove clean. I don't want to file down the nut if it's not necessary. If there's just, you know, just globs of stuff in there that's preventing the fitting of the nut. Let's just see how it looks right now. Already feel it fits much better. So I'm going to continue doing this until that seats nicely. Okay, so I finished cleaning all the glue. Sometimes you have to take your razor blade at an angle and just press downward, lift up, and again, like I said, scrape the bottoms. And then when you're sure all the glue is out, you should be able to take the nut like from one end and feed it across practically without any rocking. And then you're going to want to inspect this side. Make sure there's no gap below the fret and the rosewood. And again with the other side, although because I'm filming, I put that nut in the wrong way, of course, although it's supposed to be the same thickness. Yeah, you want to place it in, and you should be able to move it across. And there should be no gap between the bottom of the fret and the rosewood. And in this case, I cleaned out the nut channel, and by pressing down, I did make a few little tiny slivers of rosewood because maybe there was a little movement of this rosewood when I glued it back in. But now it's like, it's tight, it's in there, but at the same time, it's not binding, and I can lift it out. So, let's move on to the height adjustment. So, let's get this in the field of view. And I'm not going to focus on getting the ends sanded flush for now, but you're going to want to equalize the nut in, press it down. And then we're just going to do a mock assembly. And I wish I had my tuner with me. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got it together. Plays like a dream. I mean, it's got a slight back bow. I mean, there's no setup done yet. I'm just, you know, letting it get used to life again. So it's got a slight back bow now. I only have 45 thousandths about at the 12th fret on the low E and the high E string. So that's wicked low action. All the strings up here are super easy to press down now, and everything's beautifully in tune. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let me just get to E.
and then first fret, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, we'll tighten it a little bit, A right on the money. Let's go with the high E string, F, C sharp, G, G sharp. One second. Right on the money. A. G's always a hard string. G. Okay. G sharp. A sharp, B, on the money. Chords sound fantastic, open chords. A open chord always sound like crap with this thing. Sounds beautiful now. F sharp minor, and D. And none of the strings are bottoming out or rattling. It's beautiful. So I'm gonna close it up, call it a success. I mean, I might knock this nut in that direction. I mean, we're talking 1/256 of an inch just to make it perfect. No reason to even sand the ends. Perfect height. I didn't have any clearance on the low E when I did by their method, but the old nut, which was a lot higher and made everything pressing down here impossible and all the notes out of tune, had that 10 thousandths on the low E. So I don't know, maybe that's just a starting mark. So, but I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna set this up. I'm gonna get the neck relief just correct. It's a 12-inch radius fretboard. So I'm gonna go for about 8 thousandths relief, 6 to 8 thousandths, if I can get away with it. And we'll work on setting the heights. I think I'm happy with 45 on the high E, but want to get at least 60 on the low. Then that's low action for me. This is just crazy low action. Some of the low strings up here maybe buzz a little bit, but like I said, it's got a back bow, only 45 thousandths at the 12th fret. So we're gonna do that in the next video, but thanks for tuning in.